Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janabalaba Girivaradari Jayo Gopi Janabalaba Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Hey Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hey Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Shh. Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Hey Gopi Janabalaba Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajjanaranjana Hey Yashodanandana Brajjanaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hey Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paragraja Kacharya Ashtotara Sata Shishimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shla Prabhupada Ki Anantakoti Vaishnava Brindi Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Nitai Go Premanand All glories the assembled devotees, all glories the assembled devotees, all glories the assembled devotees, all glories Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Narayanam namaskritya naram cheva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayat. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 25, chapter entitled The Characteristics of King Puranjana. Text number 6. Griheshu kutadameshu putradara danartadi na param vindate mudo brahmyan samsaravatmasu griheshu kutadameshu putradara danartadi na param vindate mudo brahmyam samsaravatmasu griheshu kutadameshu putradara danartadi na param vindate mudo brahmyam samsaravatmasu griheshu kutadameshu putradara danartadi na param vindate mudo brahmyan samsaravatmasu. Anyone? Griheshu in family life. Kutadameshu in false occupational duties. Putra, sons. Dara, wife. Dana, wealth. Artha, the goal of life. D, one who considers. Na, not. Param, transcendence. Vindate, achieves. Muta, rascal. Brahmyam, wandering. Samsara, of material existence. Vatmasu, on the paths. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Those who are interested only in so-called beautiful life, namely remaining as a householder entangled by sons and a wife and searching after wealth, think that such things are life's ultimate goal. Such people simply wander in different types of bodies throughout this material existence without finding out the ultimate goal of life. Translation responsibly. Those who are interested only in a so-called beautiful life, namely remaining as a householder, entangled by sons and a wife, and searching after wealth, think that such things are life's ultimate goal. Such people simply wander in different types of bodies throughout this material existence without finding out the ultimate goal of life. Purport. Those who are too much attached to family life, which consists of entanglement with wife, children, wealth, and home, are engaged in kuta dharma, sado, duties. Prahlad Maharaj has likened these sado, occupational duties, to a dark well, under kupam. Prahlad has purposefully spoken of this dark well because if one falls into this well, he will die. He may cry for help, but no one will hear him or come to rescue him. The words Brahmyam Samsara Vatmasu are significant. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Majja 19151, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very clearly explains Brahmanda Brahmate Kona Bhagyavana Jiva. All living entities are wandering in different types of bodies throughout different planets, and if in the course of their wanderings they come in contact with a devotee by the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, their lives become successful. Even though King Prachini Bahishat was engaged in fruitive activity, the great sage Narada appeared before him. The king was very fortunate to be able to associate with Narada, who enlightened him in spiritual knowledge. It is the duty of all saintly persons to follow in the footsteps of Narada Muni and travel all over the world to every country and village, just to instruct illusion persons about the goal of life and to save them from the entanglement of karma bandha, fruitive activity. Omagyan timidandasya gananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam jena tasmai Shri Gurave namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swabadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhievacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So it's a nice verse from the Bhagavatam. What is this verse teaching us? That this material world is temporary and full of suffering. Krishna created the material world. Why? Because we wanted to be separate from him. There's no necessity of the material universes existing. Right? There's no need for this world. It doesn't need to exist. But we wanted to be separate from Krishna. Right? Just like if someone plans a town, builds a city. So they plan a city, and part of this city, they plan for a jail. Because they know people will need to be corrected. Not everyone will behave properly. So it's part, it's not necessary. But then it is necessary because some people will misuse their independence. So in the same way, the material world is not necessary, but because we misuse our independence, then Krishna creates the material world for us. Right? It's a punitive center. It's a place you go to get corrected. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, it is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Dukkalayam means it is full of suffering, and ashashvatam means it is temporary. Yeah. So why do we come to the material world? Because we want to enjoy. Anandamayo bhyasat, the living entity wants to enjoy. Hands up if you like to enjoy. No one. One person. 2 people. Very good. 2 people like to enjoy. 3 people like to enjoy. 4 people. 3.5 like to enjoy. But the rest of us do not like to enjoy. No. Everyone wants to enjoy. Enjoyment is the essence of existence. Ananda mayo bhyasat. Everyone is looking for ananda, bliss, all the time. But we look for it in the wrong place. We come to the material world and we think, oh, I will be happy here. So you try to be happy separate from Krishna. It doesn't work. Because Krishna says, okay, go and be happy. But, dukkalayam ashashvatam. Your happiness in this material world will be mixed with suffering. So how can you be happy if you know that at the same time you'll be suffering, or in the future you'll be suffering? That's not really happiness. That's just cessation of suffering. That's all that is. It means, okay, you're not happy at the moment, or you could say you are suffering at the moment, and when the suffering stops, you call that happiness, but that's not really happiness. That's just cessation of suffering. It just means the suffering is not going on. Different examples. Over the years, I've heard many classes. So one devotee gave the example. There was one king, and the king had a sword, and the sword was directly above where he would eat prasadam. So it was hanging directly above, just on like a thin piece of string. So the whole time, that's what the material world is like. You're taking prasad, but the whole time, anything can happen. So how can you really be peaceful? How can you be peaceful in the material world, where in any moment the sword could go? Or another example, back in the medieval times in Europe, they used to call some people, they would say they were witches. You know a witch? What do they call in India? Buddha. Witches? Buddha? Yeah. Isn't it pitchery or something they call? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about anyway. Kechery. Kechery or kechery? Kechery. Yeah, kechery. Yeah, witch. Putana, yeah, she was a witch. Yeah, kechery. Yeah. So then, someone was a witch. They'd say, okay, you're a witch. They used to do this in Europe. 500 years ago, they were doing this. You're a witch. So they would get you, and they would tie you, they put a log over the river. And they tie you to the end, tie you up on the log, and they put the log underwater. And you're underwater, like, drowning. And after 1 minute, they would lift you up, and you go, like that. And then after, like, you just take the air, then back down under again. They used to do this to people. Right? Horrible people. Right? So, at that moment you come up, you think, oh, I'm happy. That's not happy. That's just in between the suffering. And then bang, you're back down again. So the material world is like that. Right? If you're happy, that just means you're not suffering at the moment, that's all. So enjoy yourself. Because it doesn't last. Right? But that's the material world. But just for that little bit of cessation of suffering, we will do so much austerity. Right? All the people are doing austerity. Just like now if you go to the Westgate Bridge. Westgate Bridge key? Jay. So Westgate Bridge is just over there. If you go there now, what is happening? Traffic jam. It's austerity. Have you been caught in traffic jam? Right? You go over there on Westgate Bridge. If you're there right now, it's austerity. You know, just everyone's just driving like this. It's just austere. It's not the way human life is meant to be. It is just suffering. But they will do that, they will do all that suffering, all that austerity, just so at the end of the week they can have a little bit of sex life. Prabhupada says, right? Just so you can get a little bit of sex life, right? You will go through so much suffering. A little bit of sex, oh, it's okay. I'll do it all again next week. What is that called? Madness, very good. Pramata, very good. Maya, very good. Muta, very good. Yeah, muta, pramata, maya, all these things. It's correct. It's madness. Why would you do that? Prabhupada was driving in Sydney down the road, and then one town in Sydney is called Parramatta. You know Parramatta in Sydney? Parramatta Dham Ki? Yeah. Parramatta, right? Prabhupada saw it, he said, what is that? They said, Parramatta. Prabhupada said, Pramata. Pramata means mad. He said, Pramata. That whole place is Pramata. So this is it. Material world means so much suffering, but you get a little bit of pleasure, okay, I'll tolerate that. That's madness. But that's what the material world is. Dukkalayam ashashvatam. So we come to the material world to enjoy, but it is the opposite. You cannot enjoy here. Because the living entity is looking for enjoyment. But where is enjoyment? Is the spiritual world. Golokera, Premadam, Harinam, Sankirtan. So it says that from Goloka, Harinam, Sankirtan came down into this material world. What is the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra? No, not one. You cheated. You looked at the words. All right, say it without looking. Okay, so what is the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra? Where does it come from? Very good. Sound of which flute? Yeah, the Hare Krishna. This is in Anchalila. Chaitanya Charitamrita. Prabhupada explains. The Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is the sound of Krishna's flute. Krishna is playing his flute right now in the spiritual world, and then that sound goes down into the material world and comes as Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It comes as the sound. That is the sound. It is Krishna's flute sound. Why does that come into the material world? To wake everyone up. This is how Prabhupada explains Shabda Brahma. Shabda Brahma means spiritual sound. Because in the material world, there is no pleasure. Right? But in the material world, you can be completely blissful. Right? By absorbing yourself in spiritual sound. Right? By hearing the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Right? You absorb yourself in the Hare Krishna mantra. Right? And then the bliss that you get from that takes you out of the material world. Golokera Premadam. It means it takes you to Goloka Vrindavan. In the songbook of the Vaishnavacharyas, right, there's one book there that all the books that the songs that Prabhupada translated of the Vaishnavacharyas. Then in the introduction, it says, Prabhupada says, there is no place safer in the material world than, what does he say? In Kirtan Ras. Prabhupada said, no place is safer in the material world than when you are in the Kirtan. Right? But it means Kirtan Ras. What does rasa mean? Yeah, mellow, juice, pleasure. Rasgula, rasmalai. What does that mean? Juicy gula. Sweet, yeah, sweet, juicy, like that. Imagine if the rasgula was not soaked in the sugar syrup. Right, they just rolled it and just gave it to you. Offer to no, it's not pleasurable. It has to be soaked, juicy. Actually, when there is rasa in the vegetables, juice, that's when it becomes nectar. Like if the broccoli is dry, it's been sitting there for 1 week, it's all dry and shriveled. There's no pleasure in that. Right? When something is juicy, then you get pleasure. So rasa means the pleasure. Right? Kirtan ras means the pleasure in the kirtan. The pleasure in the kirtan does not come automatically. It becomes when your mind is entwined in the kirtan. Just like King Kula Shekar. You know King Kula Shekar? Mukunda Mala Stotra. He was a great king in South India. Kula Shekar. Very nice devotee. Prabhupada translated partially the Mukunda Mala Stotra from King Kula Shekar. So King Kula Shekar says, let my mind be like the swan. And if you see the swan has a long neck. And then there is the lotus stem, the lotus flower in the lake. He said, let my mind be like the neck of the swan which tangles itself around the lotus stem. So let my mind go around Krishna's lotus feet. Absorb yourself in Krishna. So when you're chanting the Hare, that's Kirtan Ras. Means you're chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, your mind is like completely absorbed in Krishna's lotus feet. Actually it says, some advanced devotees, when they're chanting their japa, you meditate when you're chanting on the beats, you're massaging the toes of Lord Gauranga, Lord Chaitanya. This is one way you can meditate. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. This is Kirtan Ras. Not when your mind is somewhere else. You're chanting Hare Krishna, your mind is in Bali, or Kerala, or Hawaii, or any of these places. If your mind is somewhere, but that's not Kirtan Ras. Kirtan Ras means you are there chanting Hare Krishna. So that takes place. And Prabhupada says that is the safest place in the material world. Even if you're in the material world, if you're fully absorbed in chanting the holy names and taking shelter, Nam Ashraya. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says Nam Ashraya. Nam Ashraya means you take shelter of the holy name. Then the material world does not affect you. No? You will be happy, you'll be blissful. Even if you're in the material world. But you won't feel like you're in the material world. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada's Guru Maharaj, says, there is nothing lacking in the material world except Krishna consciousness. So if you're Krishna conscious, the material world is the same as spiritual world. Almost. But you can feel blissful, even here in this material world. But if you forget Krishna, then you will suffer. Right? If you are suffering, that means you are not remembering Krishna. You're not connected to Krishna. Because if you're connected to Krishna, you will not suffer. So King Kula Shekar, because this verse is speaking about the suffering in the material world. Why does the Bhagavatam speak about suffering in the material world? Why doesn't the Bhagavatam just speak about Krishna's pastimes? Why does it speak about suffering in the material world?
So you can
Relate to it, yeah. And?
It speaks about both, so you can compare both. It speaks about both, so you can compare the both.
Yeah. So you can compare the both. Why else? Yeah, Moshe, because it means you become detached. That's why the Bhagavatam speaks like this. The Bhagavatam is saying, Jivja go, Jivja go. Gaura Chandra, Lord Chaitanya is saying, wake up, wake up. Bhagavatam is saying, wake up. This whole pastime of Paranjana, right, is spoken for one reason, to breed detachment in the heart. At the end of hearing this pastime, you should be a sannyasi. A lot of initiations taking place next month. All the sannyasis. Why? Because that's what Paranjana's pastimes do. They make you detached from this world. We have to become detached. So King Kula Shekar in the Mukundamala Stotra, he also speaks in a way to make you detached. He says the material world is like an ocean. Just like if you go on a boat and you go out there into Bass Strait in the boat. Not even like the boats we have these days, like the Spirit of Tasmania, but like on a sailboat. So you go out into the middle of Bass Strait. Bass Strait is very rough, right? Some of the roughest ocean in the whole world, right? So you go out there, and you're in the boat. And then you fall overboard. Or even worse, you jump overboard. Right? What do we say when someone leaves ISKCON? They bloop. Huh? Do devotees still say that? You say it? Bloop? Yeah, we still say, you know. You know where that came from, bloop? Huh? Yeah, it came from Prabhupada. Prabhupada said bloop. When someone leaves ISKCON, we say they blooped. What does it mean? It means you're on the boat, ISKCON's a boat. Prabhupada is the captain. Right? We're going along, going through the ocean of material existence, trying to get back home, back to Godhead. If you stay on the boat, you will get back to Krishna. But some devotees, they jump off the boat. And Prabhupada says they think they will jump in the ocean and make a big splash, but they just go bloop. That's what we think. You know, we jump off, I'm back in the material world, and you just go bloop. Material world just goes, covers you, you bloop. That's where the saying comes from, Prabhupada said. So you're in the material ocean, you're out there in the material ocean. And King Kulashekar says, when you're in the material ocean, what happens? Right? Big waves come. It's not nice out there. You're stuck out there in the ocean, it's like, it's terrible. Big waves are coming. Getting you. And he says those waves are the modes of material nature. Right? Goodness, passion, ignorance, just hitting you all day long. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, what is chapter 14 called? 3 modes of material nature. So Krishna says the modes are always fighting for supremacy. All right? Even right now, we're sitting here. Ignorance is trying to cover us. Passion is trying to cover us. Goodness is trying to cover us. Like that. They're all fighting for supremacy. Right? So you have to situate yourself in goodness. Right? Because goodness is advantageous for spiritual life. Passion and ignorance are not so advantageous. So they're fighting for supremacy. So the waves are like that. You're in the ocean, hit by the modes of nature. And then he says the winds, when the wind comes, the waves get bigger. And he said the winds are lust, anger, and greed. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, lust, anger, and greed are 3 gateways to hell. If your consciousness becomes covered by lust, or anger, or greed, you just go down to hell. Hare Krishna. See you next time. See you when you get back from hell. Right? Going down. Right? So the winds are like lust, anger, greed, 3 modes of nature. And then you're in the ocean and you're being smashed around, trying to stay afloat. Big waves are coming. And then you realize underneath, right, sharks are there. How would you feel? Right? You have enough trouble already, and then sharks are coming. And who are the sharks? King Kulashekar says, your family members. Your family members, like big sharks coming under. Give me 100,000 rupees. Give me this, give me that. Everyone's just grabbing you all the time. Family. So underneath, you're being attacked, right? So you're being attacked up here, being attacked down there. And if that is not bad enough, then Kulashekar says, then a big whirlpool starts. You've seen the whirlpools? You know, big like, goes like this, and then you start getting sucked in. And what is that? King Kulashekar says, your wife. Or your husband. Either one. Your wife. Just when you think, I can make it, and then your wife just goes, pulls you in. Attachment. Because it is attachment to the opposite sex. Pumsa striya maituni bhava metam. What keeps us in the material world is attachment to the opposite sex. Right? So that pulls you down into the material ocean. And you stay in the material whirlpool, just suffering. So that is the material world. Material world key. Okay. So enjoy yourself. You came here to the material world to enjoy, and there is no enjoyment. Right? It's just suffering. Right? And the little bit of enjoyment you get in between the suffering, you say, oh, that's okay. Well, that's good enough. I will stay here. I'll put up with everything just for a little bit of sex life at the bottom of the whirlpool. Right? That is enough to keep the material, the living entity in the material world perpetually. So that is why the Bhagavatam, that is why the Bhagavatam speaks like this. It is very heavy. Right? Now Prabhupada says the saintly devotees should become like Narada Muni. Our duty is to liberate the conditioned souls on behalf of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jeev Jago, Gora Chandra, Bole. Wake up, wake up. That's why we go out on Harinam. That's why we go out and distribute books. That's why we go and distribute prasad. That's why we preach to the conditioned souls. We try to help them become Krishna. Don't sleep in the lap of the witch called Maya. You're happily asleep. Maya has two shaktis, two potencies. One is pulling down, one is covering. Right? She covers you to make you forget Krishna. And then if you're trying to get out of the material world, go back to Krishna, then she pulls you back down. So that is her job. It is a selfless job to keep you in the material world. So what is our duty? Our duty is to go out and try to help people become Krishna conscious. And then next week is Kartik Mas. So that is very important. Now you have to plan. Because when Kartik comes, the devotees take vrata, they take vows. Right? How will I get closer to Krishna? Kartik is described, it is like Boxing Day sale at Myers. Have you been to a Boxing Day sale at Myers? Day after Christmas. Right? People line up, the doors open at 9 or I think they open early now, 7 or something, on Boxing Day. So Christmas is a big consumer mirage. Right? Everyone, they put all the prices up and they say, come, Christmas is coming. They know everyone's going to buy Christmas presents. So Christmas is coming and you come and you buy and you buy and you buy. So on Christmas Day you can give something to your family and then you open it up and you say, oh, I didn't really want that anyway. But then you look at them and you smile and say, oh, thank you very much. Yeah, just what I wanted. Like that. The most stupid thing in the world, just what I wanted. Like that. So, you know. Sometimes I get Christmas presents and then I re-gift. And during the year when it's someone's birthday, then I give them that Christmas present. So it's good for that. I hope no one's watching my... like that. So sometimes that happens. You know, you get all these things. So, but the stupid thing is that on the Boxing Day, which is the day after Christmas, you go to Myers, everything goes down half price. Right? They have Boxing Day sale. Right? And hundreds of people, even thousands of people, at 7 o'clock in the morning on 26th, they're all standing outside of mine. As soon as the doors open, they run in because everything's... So why would you spend all the money before Christmas if the next day you can get everything half price? But people, they get caught up in this whole thing. Right? So Kartik means everything is half price. Right? It says in Kartik, when you chant the holy name, you get thousands of times more benefit. Any service you do, you get thousands of times more benefit. So we should become very serious for 1 month. And devotees take vows. Every day I will come for Mangalati. Or devotees take different vows. Just like Bhakti Saprabhu. You know Bhakti Saprabhu? Right? He was brahmachari. He was here a few years ago. So he took a vow when he was here, maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago or something. In Kartik, he would read the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, the verses. Not the purports, but the verses, in 1 month. So he had to read for 3 or 4 hours a day. And in 1 month, he read the whole Bhagavatam. Very nice. So many things you can do. I can chant extra rounds, or I can read Bhagavatam, I will come Mangalati every day. Right? Some devotees took a vow, I would distribute books every day. So every day they went out and distributed books. One devotee, Harinam Ruchi devotee, what's his name? Harinamananda Prabhu, yeah. He took a vow, I will go on Harinam every day for 1 month. So sometimes I think he went by himself. He just went to Sankirta, just danced around for 1 hour and then came back. So many vows you can take. But Kartik means, if you want to get out of the material world, you have to become serious in Krishna consciousness. So Kartik means you can become very serious. Prabhupada said every day in Kartik we have to offer a deepa, a lamp, to the deities, and we have to sing the Damodar Ashtika. So that's the minimum. But then you can do so many other services as well. Purify your consciousness, go back to Krishna, eat Mahaprasad and Goloka Vrindavan at the lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram. Sri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki. Any questions or comments? Hare Krishna.
Today it appears to be Madhvacharya. You want to say something with Madhvacharya?
Madhvacharya. Appearance day. So we are in the Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya, Sampradaya. Right? So our Sampradaya is coming from Madhvacharya. There are 4 Sampradayas. And each Sampradaya has a Sampradayic Acharya. So there is Nimbakacharya, Vishnu Swami, Ramanujacharya, and Madhvacharya. Yeah. So we are in the line from Madhvacharya. Right? Now, why is the line coming directly? It says in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, if you read the disciplic succession, who is first in the disciplic succession? Krishna. Then Brahma. Then Narada. Then Vyas. Then Madhva. Right? So Vyas is 5,000. He still lives in Bhadrik Ashram. Srila Vyasadeva still lives in Bhadrik Ashram in his spiritual form. Madhvacharya went there about 800 years ago, or 1200 years ago, something like that. So he went to Bhadrik Ashram and he took initiation. He heard the Bhagavatam from Srila Vyasadeva. Wow. So that's why we are in the Madhva Sampradaya. He was very powerful. It says, I've read that he's an incarnation of, I think it is like Hanuman or Bhimasen. He was very powerful. He was sannyasi, but he was very powerful. And it said he could eat like 20 bananas at one time. So he would, so powerful. He was so like that. And he was a very powerful wrestler. Sometimes he'd say, if you want to take initiation from me, you have to beat me in wrestling. So he would wrestle with his disciples. They're very powerful. And he drove the Mayavadis out. He was very powerful in his preaching. So there are some things about Srimad Bhagavatam.
So if the material world is full of suffering, then why is it that a person who is actually in the goodness experiences happiness? Actually, for a person like that, there's no suffering, right?
No, not no suffering, but...
Or rather, less suffering.
Yeah, less suffering. Yeah. Yeah, because as we said, Bhaktisanta Saraswati Thakur said, there's nothing lacking here except Krishna consciousness. So if you live in the mode of goodness, it's pleasant. You can have a pleasant life here in the material world and you can become Krishna conscious. But most people mix their lives with too much passion and ignorance, and therefore they suffer.
But I'm just thinking, like, for a person with more passion and ignorance, if you tell him that this whole world is full of suffering, he can relate it. But for example, a person who's more situated in the mode of goodness, it might be difficult for him to relate it, because he experiences actually happiness. How can we preach to them?
So it says in the Bhagavad Gita that sattva gun, it conditions you to the sense of knowledge and happiness. So there's a danger there as well, because you can become complacent. Oh, the material world's nice, like that. So to as you say, to preach to those people, it is difficult. Because if someone's very kind of satisfied, and you say, oh, you know, the material world's full of suffering, they say, not so bad for me. So yeah, it's difficult. So you just have to wait. Give them a few years, because suffering will come. There's no such thing as constant like that. And when that comes, then you can do. One time I was in Tasmania. You know Tasmania? Yeah, just down there, like over the ocean. So I was there in 1996. So I was a brahmachari. I was wearing saffron cloth like you guys. And I was distributing books. And then while I was there, they had the Port Arthur massacre. I don't know if you heard of that, but one guy, he went crazy and he shot many, many people. I think 37 people or maybe more. Well, it shot them, killed many people. I think even to this day, I think it's still the highest mass shooting in the world. He killed like so many people. Maybe not anymore, but you know. So the week after that, I was there distributing books. Everyone was buying books because everyone was walking around like this. And I sold a book to one of the doctors who was working in the hospital. When all the bodies came in, his job was to find all the bullets in the bodies. I said, I stopped him on the street. I said, and he said, what have you got? And I told him, the book, and he brought the book, no problem. I sold a book to a girl who was in the cafe when he was killing everyone. She was hiding behind the counter while everyone was getting shot. So easy, she just brought the book. So everyone, it was like the books were just jumping out of the box, literally. I had boxes of books, so just everyone was walking up to me. Yeah, what have you got? Just everyone. So when people are suffering, they wake up. No? But the week before that, it was a struggle. You had to really convince everyone. The week after, no problem. So when suffering comes, people will become. So if someone's in the mode of goodness, just wait. Suffering will come. There's nothing is constant in this world. Hare Krishna. Okay, so you had a pointer?
I was going to say, in my experience, a lot of people that I've met who have done well in their life, they're thankful to God. And the people who are suffering in their lives is looking that God will improve things for them. It's not all bad, but it's just misdirected.
Good point. Any other points? Yeah, it's the same thing. Sometimes people are suffering too much, like you said, they have some cancer or something, and then their minds are so disturbed that you cannot speak to them. So you have to get people at the right time. If they're too much enjoying or too much suffering, they may not be able to hear. So don't preach to them at that time. If someone's really suffering, don't tell them you're suffering because they're suffering, they know. So just let them, when it eases off, then you can preach. So it is like that. When we're suffering, like if we have cancer or something, it's a test. Some people go closer to Krishna, some people go further away from Krishna. So it's a test. Even devotees. Right? There's one Prabhupada disciple actually. He got cancer and then he was very honest. He said, when I got cancer, I felt like, why is Krishna doing this to me? So he felt like he went further away from Krishna. But then after some time, he felt like it brought him back to Krishna again. So it's a test for everyone, these things. So just be very, how do you call it? Patient and very sensitive when people are going through their suffering. Don't push things on them. Just like, when someone loses someone, like if we lose our father, our mother, our husband, our wife, one of our children, and then devotee comes up and says, oh, you're not the body. It's the wrong time for that. It's the worst time for that. Right? Just let them, process the whole thing. And after a few weeks, then they'll be okay. Then you can say something.
One way that I think it is good also to preach them prasad and kirtan.
Mm.
Because inconsciously they start to purify themselves. So in one point maybe they do the, without suffering, maybe they do the click and say, "Oh, what is that?" And then go
Mm.
one way.
Mm.
Because it's joyful, like prasad and kirtan.
Yeah. Good. Anything else? Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki.